last thing before we go on to the next segment, JT, because speaking of LeBron, wanted to add this. So, and I quote here, this is Austin Rivers about Bronny James, the son of LeBron James. And I quote here, I don't want to see Bronny play with his dad. I went through something similar. What happens is that everyone starts to discredit everything you've done. I don't want that negativity to come his way. He doesn't deserve it. Now, Steven Jackson clapped back a little bit on those comments saying, and I quote here, "In your daddy, not LeBron. Shut up. Difference is you trash. You're trash. Bronny is not. You can't compare him. Scrub."
Bro, we need to get you like an AI voiceover. You are horrible at reading trash talk.
I wasn't trying to make it trash talk. Wait,
it was trash talk. That was the most. I felt no beef in the way you read those comments. He's like,
I'm trying to make it neutral.
You trash.
That's the AI voice. You want AI voice? That's AI voice.
I need more. Hey, will you
no emotion.
I feel like depending on who said the quote, I need you to read that shit with some aggressiveness. Come on, man. That's not how Steven Jackson talk.
I'm trying to just be neutral. I'm just trying to read it.
I got it. What's your question?
All right. So the question here is, all right, do you agree with the comment by Austin Rivers?
Oh, 100%. And first of all, shout out to Austin Rivers, man. I think when you get to the NBA, people forget how good you are.
Hey, you're pretty dang good. It don't matter if you're the last guy on the bench or the starter. It don't matter.
Look, as a basketball fan, I get it. But in the basketball community, there are certain things that matter. Championships, stats, and mixtapes. And we talk about high school mixtapes, like the Austin Rivers mixtape is like up there with like the Bible. Like you can't touch that shit. So local kid right here, Winter Park, Orlando, Central Florida, legend.
Mansion life. The mansion life.
No, he got a real man. I don't live in Winter Park, bro. That's where real rich people live.
You're pretty close.
So that plus we know he had a good career at Duke. Get to the NBA, we know it's different. So it's not like he's a scrub that was not a superstar at one point talking. And Steven Jackson, I like what him and Matt do, but this is a prime example of why I don't like basketball players, because I feel like once a basketball player gets some success, they just think they're better than everybody and they can say whatever they want. Like Steven Jackson is not that guy, like long term. Like if anything, like you just Rivers in reverse. He was better than you in high school. He was better than you in college. And your pro career just happened to be a little bit better than his. Like, you acted like this man was just a scrub, like, just talking. Like, this ain't Ostertag saying this. Like, this is Rivers. Like,
hey, Greg Ostertag was a fine center.
I know Ostertag is closer to LeBron than I am to Ostertag. I get it. I'm not talking about for me, but I'm talking about other NBA players. Like, they be disrespecting guys way too much.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what he said, because he has firsthand experience of what this is like. Because what's the one thing that everyone talked about Rivers? It's like, oh, the only reason you got on that team is because your dad was the coach. The only time you got in the game and got PT because your dad was the coach. Like, you don't think that's going to happen with Bronny? Like, they're already saying it now. The only reason you got to Sierra Canyon was because your dad. The only reason you got a D1 scholarship at USC was because of your dad. The only reason you're going to be a first-round pick is because of your dad. Like, now you got to play with your dad. Like, we can see, like, Bronny's not ready for the NBA. And I don't know how good he's going to be in the league. But I tell you what, if he plays on any team with LeBron and he gets PT, they're going to say it's because of LeBron. And Austin Rivers is firsthand accounting how that could be a detriment to your career. Like, you don't want everything you accomplish in your career that you worked hard for to be like, oh, it's because of your dad. You got it because of your dad. So I think it's a fair warning. I agree. And I think Bronny should listen to it. Now, does he have a choice? Probably not. But I think it's a valid concern.
I don't agree with him. And I think Austin Rivers is allowed in this instance to voice his opinion, because like you said, he's experienced it in a way.
One more thing. I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to make this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing why I agree with this is Steven Jackson is proving his point to the T. He brought up that his dad is the reason he got everything in the league. He's literally proven Austin Rivers' point. That's how people see him. You only got everything because of you had a dad that was in the league that the people feel gave you the opportunity. Like the jokes write themselves. So I don't understand like why Jack can't see that.
Well, I think I've got to go with I don't agree with Austin Rivers. And again, I think it's fine what he said. I don't think he really said anything wrong. He's voicing his opinion and he's been through it. And I think he's credible to at least listen to in this instance. But I don't agree with him for a couple of reasons. Bronny's already taking that heat, right? JT, you said it. Like, this is why he went to Sierra Canyon. This is why he has a D1 scholarship. So let me ask you this, JT. What is he supposed to do? Nothing with his life? Like that it doesn't make any sense. If he goes to another team in the NBA that's not with his dad, what are they going to say? What you just said. He's only getting drafted by this team because his dad's LeBron James. So the guy can't win either way. So why I say, hey, that's pretty cool that you get to play with your dad, who's not only your dad, but probably the greatest player of all time, if not at least in the top two. Like, that's pretty stinking cool that you get to play with your dad and he's one of the greatest of all time. So even if you go somewhere else, you're going to get that heat. And in fact, at least you have your dad there early in your career to weather some of that storm if you don't play well. And you have time to develop and nurture yourself to the NBA life. Because if he goes somewhere else, they're going to say he only got drafted by that team because his dad's LeBron. He's only getting a chance because his dad's LeBron. And then if he doesn't play well, he's got no allies in that locker room. At least if he goes and plays with his dad. Hey, but that can catapult him later in his career because he survives those early years while he continues to develop. Like, I don't understand. What's the other option? Like, to say, I don't want that. Okay, go play somewhere else. Austin Rivers, you did the same. Did you play any better?
I feel like here's the uncomfortable conversation we need to have. I think the reason you're saying that is deep down, we don't feel Bronny's good enough to survive on his own.
That's not true. That's not true. That's what, when we asked the question, like, what was it, 6 months ago, a year ago?
It was last year.
Is he a top 10 pick? We started to say, yeah, he plays defense.
Because ESPN told us, and we looked at the metrics, but I'm looking at him at USC, and if it was anybody else but LeBron James' son, I don't think he's ready.
But JT, that's fine. If he's coming out this year, okay, yeah, that might be a concern.
I think he's going back. He got to go back.
Right. If he goes back and he has a big jump, and he has a big – see, you don't think so, but how many guys – look in the history of the NBA. The guys that made big jumps throughout their college career. Maybe it's a Kawhi Leonard type. Like, you never know. You can't base it on
Kawhi was getting way more PT and playing way better in college than Bronny is.
As a true freshman?
Probably.
Okay, but we don't know. That's just one example. What I'm saying is you go look to history.
I'm telling you right now. Look at the camera. Fine. Look at the camera. Look at me through the camera.
That's fine.
We know.
I don't want to look at you.
We know.
I don't want to look at you.